I feel inclined to tell you from the start that the advice given in this video assumes that you, the viewer, have no background in coding. You'll understand why in just a second. There are two types of web page tables. Data tables organize information in a grid. Their purpose is to present logical relationships among text or numbers or images. Data tables are two-dimensional, columns for vertical and rows for horizontal. Layout tables are used for web page organization and presentation. And I will tell you up front, they're awful for people who use assistive technology to perceive information because they often result in an unorganized reading order. Let's look at this layout table. If the layout HTML is not properly coded, here is what a person using a screen reader will hear.
Table with 3 rows and 2 columns. Row 1, column 1, heading level 1, page 1, column 2, graphic woman stressed out at a computer. Row 2, stress and your mind. Column 1, after reading this chapter, you should be able to blank. Woman stressed out at a computer, that combines the analytic capacity of a computer.
For the average content creator, meaning a person with no web design background, fixing the reading order is no easy task. My best advice? Don't use layout tables. Let's return to data tables. They can be simple, meaning they have one header row, or they might have 2 headers, 1 row and 1 column. Also, just so we are all on the same page, these here are referred to as cells. It gets trickier when tables have irregular headers, meaning header cells span multiple columns and/or rows, or when tables have multi-level headers, meaning multiple header cells associated per one data cell. And here is one you absolutely should avoid: the nested table. See how a table is embedded inside another table? A screen reader absolutely cannot describe the content of each cell. I would advise you to avoid creating tables with irregular headers or multi-level headers. It's not just that people with low vision might not understand your information, people with cognitive disabilities often have trouble interpreting these types of tables. Keep in mind that complex tables can be divided into multiple simple tables. Back to my opening assumption about you, my viewer, it is very difficult for someone with minimal to no background in writing HTML code to make complex tables accessible. And that is why this video will focus on how to create an accessible, simple table. Remember that a table's job is to help the learner make visual associations with the information. But someone with low vision obviously cannot make those connections, and so your table needs to be formatted in such a way that auditory perception conveys the same relationships that a sighted person could otherwise make. We'll use Word as an example. I created a table that helps female students determine their fitness level. So, real quick, my guess is that you're watching this to understand tables, not VO2 max, so you'll just have to take my word that it's our gold standard for describing cardiorespiratory fitness. My table shows the relationship between age, right here in my row header, and fitness level. Okay, so my table needs to communicate the correct reading sequence. To start, the title should describe the table content.
VO2 max norms for women.
The student now understands that the table cells will be measurements of VO2 max. Provided you've correctly formatted your table, the screen reader starts with the table dimensions.
Table with 5 rows and 3 columns.
Now the student understands the size and scope of the table. The screen reader starts on the first cell, age. The first row is red. Again, if your table is set up correctly, the column headings will repeat. This is the correct order, and here is how it sounds.
Age, 13 to 19 years, 20 to 29 years, poor. 13 to 19 years, 25 to 30, 20 to 29 years, 24 to 29, fair. 13 to 19 years, 31 to 35, 20 to 29 years, 30 to 33, good. 13 to 19 years, 36 to 39, 20 to 29 years, 34 to 37, excellent. 13 to 19 years, 40 or higher, 20 to 29 years, 38 or higher. So now that you know how this should sound, let's go over how to make it so. And it's very, very simple. Highlight your first row. Go to the Layout tab and select Repeat Header Rows. Honestly, it is that simple. Before I go, let's talk about alt text for tables. First, if your table has a good caption, you probably do not need alt text for the table. But, if you do not have a good caption, you will need to add alt text.
For example,
Table shows cardiorespiratory fitness scoring standards for college-aged women as expressed by VO2 max, or the milliliters of oxygen consumed in a minute per kilogram of body weight.
C. Clear, descriptive, and concise. Next up, we'll talk about headers and styles and why you really should use them.